Hey, I'm Tyler.
And I'm Katie. You're listening to Not-Stalgia, the podcast brought to you by that blanket and pillow fort that you built when you were 8. And you made it super structurally sound. Maybe you had like some household items that you could use to stabilize it. And you were like, hell yeah, this is going to stay up forever. And then it collapsed 6 minutes later.
That's really nice.
Did you make a blanket fort?
I mean, didn't every kid?
You knew it wasn't going to stay up forever, though.
No, my blanket forts were not quite as structurally sound as yours. If I asked someone if they've ever made a blanket fort and they say no, I think I'd be immediately suspicious of that person.
Do you think that maybe they're like an alien or like an evil clone? Or maybe a ghost?
Oh, wow, Kate. You looked over at the notes, huh? Well, have you ever seen... The Real Ghostbusters?
So by The Real Ghostbusters, do you mean the one starring real people, or do you mean...
No, of course not.
Something different?
What are you talking about, Kate? Of course, The Real Ghostbusters, very obviously, very easy to understand for children, means the cartoon, which does not feature any of the actual characters. Excuse me, not characters. It does feature the characters, but does not feature any of the cast from the Ghostbusters.
Well, no, that's just silly.
Although,
why would they do it?
The movie doesn't have "the" in front of it either, right?
No,
the movie is just Ghostbusters. And this is The Real Ghostbusters. Look at the title card. Notice how the real seems kind of like slapdashed on there. Well, Kate, The Real Ghostbusters was a cartoon adaptation of the film Ghostbusters. And this cartoon ran from September 13th, 1986 to October 5th, 1991. It came out after the first movie, but before the second, and the popularity of this cartoon caused them to be able to, or have to, make a sequel. They weren't planning to make a sequel, but the movie was successful. The cartoon kept it in pop culture for several more years. It ran on ABC. They made 7 seasons and 140 episodes. And this cartoon is fairly beloved among, about a half a generation older than you and I.
Okay.
So I've seen it. It's not one of my favorite things or fondest memories. I haven't seen enough of it to really judge it, but it is very well regarded.
Elder millennials.
Yeah, exactly. Among elder millennials.
Just wave at them.
Maybe some...
How are your back and knees feeling? Because mine, not great. So I can only imagine how yours are feeling.
So this cartoon, right, of course, it's credited as based on Ghostbusters by Dan Aykroyd and Harold Ramis, so they get a credit even though they weren't really involved with the show, but it's developed for television by Joe Medjuck and Michael C. Gross. The first 2 seasons of this show are kind of considered the best, and then starting in season 3, they were sort of forced to bring in like some sort of outside consulting agency, and that agency made them make a bunch of changes to the character designs. People's voices changed. The most famous part of it is that they took Janine, the receptionist, and they made them make her behave more like you would really hate what this agency did. They completely muzzled Janine.
Free Janine.
Much to the annoyance of the original, one of the original producers who had left the show when that company came in because he didn't like the direction they were taking it. Also worth mentioning, as the show changes throughout the years, they start making Slimer more and more important in the marketing, the intro, the episodes, and then eventually by the end of the show, they add it. They start making Slimer episodes specifically.
Good God.
And they branded the show as Slimer and the Real Ghostbusters.
Oh, the Minions effect.
Yes. So by the end, this was basically the Slimer show. It became an hour. They doubled the length, and half of it was Slimer content. Normally, I'd want to show you that. I watched part of one of the Slimer episodes, and I decided we're not. You
not
can
even
get
gonna
it.
Bother.
You can determine what it would have been like just by thinking about it. Okay. So unlike when we did My Little Pony and we watched the Moon Dreamers and all of the glowworms, we're just going to imagine what it would be like if Slimer was here.
I just want to get this straight. This consulting company comes in and is like, in order to make the show more successful, let's silence the one female character who's like a series regular. Let's make her real quiet. And let's give prominence to the gender indeterminate but potentially male presenting Slimer, who does not even speak English, really.
Yeah.
He just goes... Okay. Sometimes when an elder millennial who maybe has like some growth of hair between their chest and their chin, potentially on their neck, says things like, well, back when they made good media, like everything was good and no one had any problems. There were problems, you shrimp brains.
You're going to be thrilled by the second episode we watched today. It addresses your concerns. The producer who had left the show when the agency came in, he came back to write one episode later, and it's a meta reference to all the stuff. I don't know how they let it happen. You'll see. It's called Janine, You've Changed, the second one we're going to watch. They're literally going to address it. So that's good. But the only other thing I wanted to say that is not about problematic aspects of the real Ghostbusters is Bill Murray's character, Venkman, is voiced by Lorenzo Music in the first 2 seasons.
Oh, I
could
see that, yeah.
And there's always this little fun bit of trivia nowadays that Lorenzo Music took over the role of Venkman from Bill Murray for the cartoon, and then years later when they made the Garfield live-action film, Bill Murray plays Garfield, supposedly by accident.
Interesting.
He thought the Coen brothers were making the Garfield movie because one of the directors' name, or writer, director, had the same first and last name as I think Ethan or Joel Coen. So Bill Murray accidentally agreed and signed a contract to be in Garfield because he thought it was going to be like a Coen brothers version. So Bill Murray took over the role of Garfield from the late Lorenzo Music.
Could they make a Coen Brothers remake of the Garfield movie?
Wouldn't it be awesome?
Yeah, it would just be called Mondays.
And like maybe Bill Murray is playing Garfield like in an actual, I don't know, prosthetic. I don't know how you'd do it.
I don't know how it would work.
I said that was the last thing. I have one more thing.
Oh, great.
Do you want to know why it's called The Real Ghostbusters?
No.
It's a legal issue because we talked on the Ghostbusters episode last October about how the cartoon company Filmation had a cartoon, or no, the company Filmation had a live action TV show, kids show, called The Ghostbusters in the 70s. And there was legal action between
it was like
Columbia.
An animated dog.
No, there was a monkey in it.
Oh.
But it wasn't animated, it was live action.
Oh, no.
Even though it was made by Filmation. Very confusing.
That is confusing.
They had someone in a gorilla suit. So there was, when the movie Ghostbusters came out, there was a lawsuit because Filmation was like, hey, we own it's not the same concept, but we own the name. So then when the movie came out and was successful, Filmation wanted to capitalize on it. So they started making a cartoon based on their old Ghostbusters show. It's not like the same premise as the movie at all. So this cartoon, which came out around the same time, they had to add the real to theirs to differentiate themselves from the Filmation Ghostbusters cartoon, which was not about these characters busting ghosts. That's all. That's why it's called that. And I'm sorry I couldn't get you an Ecto Cooler. They weren't re-released this year for some reason. The Slimer flavored High C. All right, enough out of me. We're going to watch Season 2, Episode 28, The Collect Call of Cthulhu, and Season 6, Episode 1, Janine, You've Changed. The meta commentary. I don't know how good it'll be, but it's some meta commentary on the problematic changes to Janine and the Ghostbusters cartoon in general.
Yes, I see. No problem. We can handle it.
Okay, introductions. Candy the Ghostbusters Candy.
Wow, I've heard so much about you guys.
Well, we got a full day planned, so...
Sorry, Peter. We've got what sounds like a Class 7 corporeal entity at the library.
Great. I'll go warm up Ecto-1.
It's not fair. It's just not fair.
Besides, you knew the job was dangerous when you took it.
But...
Ghostbusters are heartbreakers, kid. Don't get too close to him.
We never came from a time of collect calls, but I imagine you would have liked making them. So this ghost, he's kind of like a little marshmallow, but he's the Ghostbusters logo.
Yeah. When I did encounter this as a kid, it confused me because their hair colors are different. Oh, in the intro, Slimer has kissed Janine without her consent.
No, I'm canceling Slimer. Why are their hair colors different? It's like a contractual thing? It's like a legal thing?
No, I believe it's just...
To make it easier to tell them apart?
Yeah, because look, they all have color-coded uniforms too here.
Because that's true. Like Egon, Venkman, and...
Stance. No one remembers
Egon, Venkman, and Stance all look vaguely similar.
Yeah, the only reason it works in the movie is because they're well-known actors. Yeah. They look different enough. All right, so this is from the classic second season. This is highly regarded as one of, if not the best episode. That's always a loaded statement, though, because then you watch it and you're like, that's the best? And now I have to watch a second one after?
This is the best they can give us.
This definitely contributes heavily to, like, the goodwill towards the Ghostbusters in general. This cartoon.
All right, so the New York Public Library is displaying a creepy book made of flesh.
It's the Necronomicon. This is awesome. And we just saw a pentagram on that book.
All right, it's been, like, literally 6 minutes since the lights went out. And already, shit's going bad. It's an interesting spelling on Cthulhu.
Yes.
Because it's spelled cat hulu. I thought it was going to be like a cat.
No, they just changed the spelling for no reason. They might not have known the real spelling is what I suspect.
Why did they make Egon into like a Swedish male model? I'm upset because Egon is the cutest Ghostbuster. And
he's pretty cute in this, though, too, don't you think?
No. This is not cute.
You don't like Egon's swirly hair?
Different definitions of cute, I guess, because he's got like a Mr. Whippy hair.
Lorenzo Music just sounds like Garfield, though.
Yeah,
it's just human Garfield.
I can't separate Lorenzo Music from Garfield.
I'm pretty sure Dan Aykroyd is Fred from Scooby-Doo right now, too. Yeah, it's Frank Welker. Yeah. Oh, look, they're talking about Gozer.
I know Venkman's, like, little repartees are supposed to be funny, but he just complains all the time. Like, oh, I should have gone into the hardware business. You're making money catching ghosts, sir.
There's some pretty gnarly-looking Lovecraftian monsters in the sewer, right? This is what I wanted this month, Kate, and it's been working so far. Just really frightening cartoon designs for children.
And they just blasted them apart. It wasn't like they trapped them in their little ghost box. They just blasted him straight in the head. Oh, but they're regenerating.
Like Piccolo. Yeah, the voice cast is actually stacked because you have Frank Welker, a.k.a. Fred from Scooby-Doo, as Dan Aykroyd, Arsenio Hall as Winston, and Maurice LaMarche is doing Egon. Maurice LaMarche is really famous in cartoons. He's the Brain in Pinky and the Brain. He's a bunch of people in Futurama. He's Kif and Morbo, the newsman. I'm leaving out some really big roles, but he's just like a classic cartoon guy.
Cthulhu was defeated by the sewer cover. I'm just so upset about Egon's...
Why'd they give him a rat tail?
I know. Hashtag justice for Egon.
Because, like...
Go ahead, put the hashtags out there, listeners.
If you got rid of the rat tail and colored his hair dark, I could deal with the shape. Because it is like an impressionistic version of his real hair. It's a bit intense, but the rat tail and the blondness of it is bizarre. But yeah, it's definitely just so they could, like, make the toys look different, make sure kids know who's who.
Alright, so they're gonna go talk to this Necronomicon expert, and she just so happens to be a smoking hot PhD lady, here to defeat Venkman. Alright, so they've stumbled upon some kind of secret Cthulhu meeting, where they're all wearing some kind of, like, squid-based robe.
All doing a weird satanic prayer over the Necronomicon. This is awesome. I know we talk about the Satanic Panic a lot on this podcast, but like this is during that time. Obviously, they're inspired by it. It's just hilarious that they're like, let's do a Ghostbusters episode that's kind of
topical.
Satanic cult. Yeah. I mean, it makes sense. If you're doing Ghostbusters, eventually you got, oh my god.
All right, there's a lot of teeth and drool.
Cthulhu is genuinely frightening. Because, like, the Ghostbusters logo is this cute little ghost that talks to you in between commercials. And then there's just, like, here's Cthulhu. He's got 4,000 sharp teeth. He's absolutely horrific. Find yourself an animator who can do both. And we still haven't even seen the real Cthulhu yet. These are the minions.
I prefer Acolyte to Minion because, as you know, I hate minions.
Look, they're going to defeat the villain by reading. What could you fault this for?
That's pretty good.
They're literally all sitting around just reading through old volumes of sci-fi. Stacks of them.
This doctor really doesn't have a lot of personality, but she does have a big statement necklace, which in the 80s is the same as a woman having a personality. So I don't even know this doctor's name. I think that's by design. Not even necessarily the bottom of the ocean. It looks like they're at like Coney Island.
It's true.
You know?
The big bubble that's like emerging where he's supposed to be sleeping under is like right offshore.
Oh, her name's Alice. The doctor.
That's Dr. Alice to you.
Oh my god, they are at Coney Island, look!
Yeah, he's destroying a Ferris wheel now.
So now they're going to electrify this roller coaster and defeat the monster. Alright, so now Peter Venkman, super cool guy, is going to surf on this roller coaster and blast Cthulhu with his little proton pack.
Yep. This show is interesting because I feel like it has a mix of mostly the lamest animation with the fewest frames and least effort, and then every once in a while, Cthulhu will stomp around and look incredible. Yeah. Like they saved up all their talent for a few shots.
It's a very Scooby-Doo ending.
They ripped off the Cthulhu cult mask and it was the guy who works at the museum.
Yes, because there's no evil in Massachusetts. I'll take it back to Massachusetts, where this book cannot be used for evil. Only the most haunted place in the whole world. Salem and shit.
3 bleeps in one sentence.
So now they're, like, enjoying a little parade. They're doing this funky dance. Oh, Slimer has appeared.
Yeah, this is the end credits.
No one asked for Slimer to be here, but he's here.
He wasn't in the episode at all, because it's too early.
Yes, Jimmy. You summoned me?
It's just not right yet. Can't you make me any prettier?
This is the 3rd time this week. Are you sure you want this to continue?
Absolutely. I want to be, half an inch taller and a few pounds thinner. And how about green eyes instead of blue?
As you wish, Jane.
Look at all these Slimer hijinks.
Look at these horrible little goo monsters.
I love it.
They're just vomiting all over people.
I love how willing animators back then were to make things look nightmarish. Even just a character we're only going to see for a few minutes could give a kid nightmares. So now Dave Coulier, the fun uncle from Full House, has taken over Venkman and is doing a more traditional Bill Murray impression, it sounds like.
He's like, yes, this is me, Peter, remember? With a totally different voice. So now we're looking at a photo album. It's like, oh, Janine used to have long hair and was so beautiful. Now she cut her hair and she looks like she's an independent human. We don't like that at Ghostbusters HQ. Now Slimer's frightened by Janine's short hair. Let's all invade this woman's privacy. That sounds really great. Maybe just ask her. Janine gets home, and she, looks in the mirror and is like, I'm still not good enough, and summons this wild-looking fairy godmother. She kind of looks like if Michael Jackson and Chrissy Teigen had a baby. Right? Just mush them together, but 90s Michael Jackson.
Yeah, and she's demanded to be even prettier. So we're now learning that Janine's design, the in-universe reason for the change, is because she keeps wishing to be prettier.
Yeah.
Which, without the context, seems pretty bad, because it's that's Janine's character now, personality. But with the context, I guess they're trying to say that they're being forced to try to make her more traditionally desirable, yeah. So we'll see where they go with this. But also in this episode, Slimer has broken into her house to secretly spy on her.
I love that they just took off. I know they're supernatural beings, but they didn't have to, run or get a head start or anything. These three, dog beasts just lifted into the air and were like, whoa!
I know people say this about, comic book movies. Man, I wouldn't want to live in the world of the Marvel Universe because it's just, constant fear of supernatural death by these, aliens and stuff. And this Ghostbusters universe is even worse.
Oh, so scary.
Cthulhu's real. There's just ghost demons everywhere. And even if not, you gotta deal with Slimer. Yeah, what does Slimer think when they're tired of him? They won't shove him into one of these prisons?
Yeah. Look at their cute little harem pants, though. Poor Janine. Her anxious, dysmorphic thoughts.
Here's the problem with this whole meta episode. If they don't revert her back to her season 1 design by the end of it, then I don't know.
We've learned nothing.
They didn't stick the landing, which they're definitely not going to do. This is the problem with this whole podcast. I do my research, I find an episode that's supposed to be kind of cool, elevates the concept of the show, and then we watch it, and it's nowhere near as good as I was led to believe, you know?
Alright, I'm not mad about that scene.
Go ahead.
So Janine just morphed through, every era of women, and she was like, women have never been good enough. I'm about to blast you, and then she blasts him with her eyes.
Yeah, she ended on Marilyn Monroe after going through all these hundreds of years, and lasered him. It feels like there were some good ideas here.
Yeah, you can see maybe what they were trying to go towards. We have to be cognizant of the fact that it was the 80s. Maybe this is the very best that they could possibly do. They fixed it.
But she kept her transformation.
Janine needed the approval of men. She was like, I decided, you guys showed me I could be perfect just the way I am, in my completely altered state. What? So it was really fun to see all these horrific animated things, scary dog ghost, Cthulhu, Michael Jackson and Chrissy Teigen mushed into one being. That was fun. I liked the scary animations. I didn't really, listen, I'm a woman. I didn't really see a place for women in this show. You know what I mean? It was Alice, the nameless doctor, that they don't call doctor, the nameless PhD, who had to work for many years to earn her PhD.
And then they're just Alice!
Hey, Alice, get over here. And then Janine, who I can see what they were going for, but they didn't really stick the landing.
Right.
And obviously, just a lot of Slimer. Too much Slimer.
Yeah.
Any Slimer is too much Slimer.
Just imagine if we saw an hour where that was half of it and the other half was all Slimer.
It doesn't...
With no
Slimer
Ghostbusters.
Doesn't even speak English.
Just Slimer, yeah. They just put him in different scenarios.
No.
What
are your thoughts?
It's fine. The Ghostbusters imagery and concept is more interesting than any of the stories we saw in these 2 episodes, you know?
Yeah, I would say so.
That's all. I'd rather just watch the movie. You see, the point of it is, you watch the movie, it's great, you want more Ghostbusters because it was so great, and this is the answer to more Ghostbusters. And the second movie, which isn't awesome either. Sometimes it's good because it was good, and we don't need all this. Yeah. As fun as it is to explore. Yeah, I agree with you. I like the designs.
And Egon deserves justice, because I don't know what they did to him here.
Not a fan of the Egon redesign.
I'm really not pleased.
Well, just back to Janine for 1 second before we wrap up. So she's either a brash, quote-unquote obnoxious
undesirable receptionist.
Or she is a more traditionally attractive, demure, but with shorter hair receptionist.
Either way,
she's just the receptionist.
kind of not great.
So it feels like whatever the point of this was, where the crew from the earlier seasons who were mad about the changes are like, aha, we've made it right. They really didn't do a very good job of making it right.
Yeah, no, not quite.
All right, enough about Ghostbusters. See, this is maybe something that I enjoy about our podcast. I don't know if everyone listening does. You know, we're supposed to just be talking about Ghostbusters, but we've gone on such a
tangent.
But that's what sticks out to you, especially. To me too, but I feel like you are even more tuned in. Like it's very apparent. And I feel like the largest contingent, and please prove me wrong, anyone out there, of people who are extremely fond of this show were probably little boys in the 80s. Okay, thanks for listening. We got one more? I think we have one more spooky episode. Yeah, this was 3 out of 4. One more spooky episode coming up.
What is it?
It's the Munsters.
The Munsters! This is, guys, if you listen to one episode, you've already listened to one, but if you listen to one more episode this whole month, make it the Munsters.
I hope it's good.
I'm gonna make it good because we're gonna talk about Tyler's famous art project.
Wow.
For when he was a child.
All right, Munsters next week, and then it'll be November, and we'll be out of Spooky Month. All right, thank you all for listening. Kate, thanks for putting up with 2 episodes of The Real Ghostbusters.
There's a lot. I would argue that every month in our modern times is Spooky Month.
All right.
From the hit movie, The Real Ghostbusters. Together, Saturdays, this fall on ABC.
I ain't afraid of no ghosts.